and welcome. I am BA from the Wheels in the Sky site, and we're going to be doing Gann resistance levels. Most important resistance levels in the stock, this is according to Gann from his master courses, is divisions of the range between all-time low and all-time high. We divide them by 8 and 3. As you can see, this is U.S. Steel. All-time low is here on March 31st, 2003, and the low is 9.61. This is the all-time high here, which is June 24th, 2008, with the high of 196. Okay, what we do is we divide the we subtract the low, which is 9.61, from the all-time high 196, which gives us 186.39. Okay, that's divisions of the range from the all-time low and all-time high. We divide it by 8 and 3s. Okay, and we're going to start by marking off our eights here. Mark off that low down there first. Okay, as at 9.61. If you take the range, which is 186.38, and you divide it by 8, you get 23.29. Which is very close to Luther Jensen's 22.5s. But what we're going to do is we're going to take that low and start adding the 23.29s to get the 1/8 points. 32.9 is the next one. Okay, and I'm getting these as close as I can on here, just eyeballing it. Okay. All we're doing is marking off the ace at this point. Yep. 126.06, 149.35, 172.64, 196 up there at the top. Okay, now these are the 8 divisions. Now what we have to do is we have to put on the we have to divide the range by 3. So you take the 186.39, you divide it by 3, and you get 62.13. You add that to the low to get the 1/3 point. So you add it to 9.61, which is 71.74. Sorry for talking so fast. It's just that these have to go fast on here because of time. Color that one green. And your 2/3 points is 133.87. Okay, now you see that we've got it marked off from the low to the high, and even though it does touch in here because of the matrix of the price action, it's actually from this point, from the high, which is the last point, that we observe how it works on these lines. Okay, and as you can see from the high itself, we go down to that, back up to that resistance level, down to the 2/3 point, up to the 7/8 point. Okay, and you can see it just keep bouncing and bouncing off of these resistance levels. A lot of confusion, and when you see that consolidation, it's confusion, doesn't know which way it's going to go. Finally gets direction, goes down, hits that. Okay, then we take it out, cycle pivots, and we'll get into that in a minute, and we can start going up. Okay, down here we're just around there, and you'll actually see it at times just sit and walk on that line. A little bit in here in that action. Support there, went up, took out support, but it didn't have enough to go up here. Let's take a look now. At this point, you can get lost in a quagmire of these lines everywhere, and there's other resistance points too, but we're avoiding those now. The question is, how do you know that you're actually going to turn at one of these? And that's the question that's been puzzling these traders. Okay, like if you look at this price action, okay, you're going down and you pivot off. You're about the line here is at supposed to be at 32.9, and the low is 33.25. Okay, so that line actually needs to be moved up a little bit. Okay, so you're going down here. Okay, how do you know you're going to turn here? Well, okay, so what we're doing here is we're trying to find out why we stopped at this line, why we stopped here. Okay, now this actually comes from different resistance levels here, and we won't get into that, but how come did we stop at these lines? Okay, well, throughout every stock and commodity, there's something called cycles that are operative. And the cycles are what push prices higher and push prices lower. Okay, so we've got cycles running through here, and I'm freehanding this. Okay, we have cycles that run through here. So here's the trade setup, and this is why this works. Okay, you've got you've got a low. This low is actually on November 2nd, 2009. So the trade setup is you've been going down, and your cycle will tell you the pivot time. Okay, it tells you the time. Remember, Gann said time is more important than price. So we're expecting a low on November 2nd. So as November 2nd comes, you've been going down. You're right up against that resistance line. Okay, you're right up against that resistance line on November 2nd. Okay, and then your cycle goes up. Okay, then your cycle goes down. Then your cycle goes up. Here again, you're expecting time-wise. You're expecting the high on April 6th. On April 6th, you watch and you're up against that trend line. What a beautiful trade. That's how Gann was trading. Okay, you have to have the cycles in there. Gann talks about time cycles and other cycles all throughout his works. If you don't have the cycles in there that give you the time component, you're lost. There's absolutely no way to do this because there's too many lines. How would you know that this trend wasn't going to go up another 20 days? You don't, unless you have a cycle that says I'm going to pivot high on this date and I'm going to turn down. And once you have that component, then you've got the system. Okay? Now, where do you learn about different types of cycles, including time cycles? Well, wheelsinthesky.com. Okay, we also have W. Gann's Master Stock course available free to all of our members, along with many other of his writings. And we also have about 40 to 50 of the e-books from his recommended reading list. Okay, so check us out. But remember, those lines are nebulous without the cycles. Okay, you have to have the cycles.